This clip, I honestly think, is one of the most savage clips I've ever seen on the internet. All right, let's watch
That's
this.
really saying something.
Yep. I'm going to rewind that. That girl's mind, her world just blew apart. She was not expecting that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then look at the girl's face in the background.
Oh,
watch that. How quickly they go to violence.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, do you see that girl's, like, her eyes? She cannot believe it. She's like,
I'm concerned that all these women are this comfortable kissing strangers on camera, but what are you going to do?
Right? You wonder, how on earth did this come about? Like, this all seems to be on the same night. He's wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
I remember being like 18 or however old this kid is. I could never have this kind of success. What I want to explore is the psychology of those women right there after thinking that they are about to get validated. They've got some high status social media star guy. He's going in for the kiss. It's a done deal. Guaranteed, never happened to them before. No guy has ever done that before. In her mind, she has to quickly recalibrate to this new set of circumstances. I've just been rejected by a guy with this kiss. A lot of them would have spent a couple of hours putting on makeup, putting on a dress. They're probably a bit buzzed. They're feeling confident. They're feeling sexy. Just wiped out. And here's the kicker. Was not done privately. Done in public with witnesses on camera. Ultimate humiliation. How are they feeling?
Yeah. It's immortalized. How are they feeling? They're feeling they just crashed into reality.
When I first saw that clip, I honestly could not believe what I was watching. It seemed really cruel for me. My protective instincts kind of came out. And then I was like, whoa, I had such a strong reaction. I had to check myself, like, okay, is this just a harmless prank? Like, this you could do this sort of thing to men and everyone would just sort of think it's funny. So my own biases and double standards was sort of coming out there. But I feel like I just knew how devastating it would be for those women. But have you ever heard these stories about what happens to a girl after she gets rejected in this way? Because when their self-esteem crashes like that, they go into absolute panic, absolute anxiety, and start doing everything that they can to get that back, which usually means sleeping with the next available guy. When you reject a girl, when she has that self-esteem crash, she's like, I need to feel desirable. I need to feel good about myself. I'll go sleep with somebody.
And it usually doesn't work.
Let's talk about then the women's fear of being judged. Like in that situation, there's embarrassment, there's humiliation. Everybody's looking. And a lot of guys, they are just learning through my channel and other sources of the internet just how important this instinct is for women to avoid judgment at all costs. And a lot of men have difficulty truly relating to how existential the fear is for women when it comes to experiencing judgment, because as guys, we're a bit more wired for risk taking. We're a bit more wired for conflict. If you're going to be successful, there's going to be a lot of haters. It comes with the territory. And to a certain degree, you have to steel yourself against that criticism. With a guy who's like, I want everybody to like me and I just want to be everybody's friend, it's really unattractive. You're not really respectful to guys who are like that, because there seems like something is fundamentally not masculine about them. But for women, it's incredibly important. And I'll explain why. It's because from an evolutionary point of view, a woman's survival was absolutely hinged on her social relationships. You know, her being good with the tribe was absolutely everything. When the guys are off hunting, she might need someone to watch her children, you know, and they're all kind of making the food together, gathering berries, raising each other's children. Social relationships was so important, which is why social gossip can be endlessly fascinating to women, because their survival and their sense of safety in that survival is linked through all of those threads. And so it's a highly emotionally charged thing. Gossip isn't neutral. Like a lot of guys will listen to their girlfriend's gossip and be like, oh, it's just just nonsense. I'm just going to tune it out. No, you don't understand. For women, it's a really, really big deal.
I do want to ask you where you think this originally came from, why this sudden surge, this meme popped up into society where judgment in and of itself is considered immoral.
Let's talk about the push for shamelessness in our society, because we have experienced something that's probably for the first time in human history, which is the absolute unequivocal rejection of anybody's right to judge women. But why it picked up steam is it found a part inside women's psyche of, I am so terrified of being judged all the time. It scares me so much at an existential level that if there's these people coming along with this ideology that promises freedom from judgment, suddenly I can indulge the worst of my instincts and feel safe from judgment. Anyone who judges me is a sexist and they're the bad guy. I'm going to go with that because I'm so desperate for that relief. It's such a dark part of humanity that we're opportunistic. So what starts off with a really good idea, there is going to be an element in society that's like, okay, if this is the new rules and this is the direction we're going, how can I twist this to my own advantage? And that's what I think happened with feminism, because initially you've got these women who are working in the home, they're raising children, they're, having kitchen, and they're judged to be positive so long as they're fulfilling their roles as mothers and wives. But you did have some women who are like, look, just me as an individual or just me as at this stage of my life, that's not what I want to do. I am curious about the men's world. I want to see what it's like. I want to test myself. I want to see how far my brain, my creativity, my drive, my ambition can take me. And I'm sick of being judged as less than a woman because I just want to explore this part of myself, which is completely valid. And I think that over time, people heard that argument enough that like, you know what, that actually makes sense. It's not just about removing the legal barriers preventing women from, achieving success in the workplace. We also need to remove some of the social stigma that those women face so that they can have a sense of positive freedom. I can explore this part of myself without sacrificing all my femininity or my claim to womanhood. I want to be free of that judgment. Now, for that, I'm actually in favor of. I think that was wonderful. And I'm also in favor of the men's liberation going the other way. If a man's like, I'm just not interested at this stage of my life in exploring my ambition and earning lots of money. I want to stay home with the kids. I want to learn to cook delicious meals. That sounds fun. I'm like, power to you. I don't want to judge you as less than a man because you want to explore that part of yourself. But you can see, given my cynical, feelings about human nature and the opportunism, there are a bunch of women who are like, this movement has successfully removed stigma for a number of female choices, like going to work, competing in a man's world, competing in professional sports. That's exciting. What if instead of me working to become a better person, like losing weight, becoming a high quality woman, getting over my drug, alcohol, and cigarette addiction, what if instead I just convince everybody that if they judge me as a woman for doing that, then they're being sexist? It just is crazy to me that you can have like pop stars on stage, obviously selling sex, trashy, awful music. They're wearing underwear. Like it's obvious pornography that's actually being sold. And then if you ever ask them about their views, they're like, this is feminism. Don't you dare judge me. I'm sharing my body because it's about me. I'm not doing it for anybody else. As if there isn't a team of 10 old white dudes studying the demographics, saying we need to increase the sex appeal in order to do that, just completely pimping around. But as cynical as that business plan is, you can see that they've been able to use feminism as a shield preemptively against all of that criticism. And I think that it's toxic, it's disgusting, and I think that it completely flies in the face of what the original feminists were trying to achieve.